Hello everyone, this is Gowthami. Welcome to my YouTube channel, GowthamiTechSkills. In this Python series, we are going to continue with one more concept called list data type. It is a one type of sequence data type. We'll continue. I already said that list is a sequence data type. What is meant by a sequence data type? Sequence data type is used to store multiple values. What we will do? Storing multiple values. These values may be of a similar data type or it may be of a different data types. Under one variable is known as sequence data type. Here we are particularly talking about the list. Correct. So the representation of the list here is square brackets and the values are separated with commas. You can write how many values you want, you can write it. And these values are of similar data type, like if you are using only integers, then you just only keep the integers. If you want to keep only the float values, you can place only the float values. If you want to store only the string data type, then you can store string data type. If you want to store only the boolean, then store only boolean. If you want to store list inside list, then also that also possible. So similar means the same kind of data types is going to be stored under one variable using the list concept. If you want to store all these data types together under one variable, that is also possible here. Okay, and one more point that we need to know here is list is an ordered data type. What is meant by ordered data type here is what is the order you are giving while creating that list variable, while displaying also it will be returning in the same manner. So that's why I can call it as ordered data type. And one more point, list supports a duplicate values. What is the meaning of a duplicate values here? Means while creating the list, we can able to give different types of data type. In that values might be of a same values. Like for example, see names is equal to, I'll just giving only the string data type. Let us say Sai as one value, Kiran as a second value. Again, I'm giving a similar data, that is a Sai. Again, I'm giving the Kiran. Later, I'm giving a Jai. Later, I'm giving Varun, like this. Okay. So here, when I try to print this variable, it is going to give the values what and all I have given while creating it. That means similar data is also present, right? Sai, Sai, Kiran, Kiran. So while displaying these similar values will also be returned. So that is the reason I can say list supports a duplicate values. And one more very, very important point that we need to note here is it is a mutable data type. What is mean by mutable data type here is we can do changes. Once it is created, you can able to do changes. That means you can add a new value into the list variable. You can delete the existing values from the list. You can do the replacement. Okay. You can sort the list variable. You can reverse it as you like. Okay. So there are so many functions in order to perform these kind of manipulations. Okay, so whenever you are applying these functions on that list variable, it will get updated to that variable itself. The reason it is a mutable data type. We'll see it one by one so that we will be understanding in a more clear way. Before going to create a list with values, first we are going to create an empty list, which means no values in that list variable. Okay, so you can create an empty list by using the square brackets or by using a list function. So let's do this one. Let us take L variable. So if I'm giving only the square brackets, if I try to print that variable and also I'll print the data type, we'll check it now. See, it is an empty list where it does not contain any values. And it is a list data type. There is another way to create a empty list with the help of a list function. If you try to print that variable and also I'll print the data type also, you can check this is also like empty list itself. Okay. Now let's create list with similar data type. Let's create list with similar data type. Similar data type means all of the same values, all of a similar data type called integers, all values are of float data type, all values are of a boolean, all values are of string, and so on. Okay, so now see here, let's take a one example which is having a similar data type. Okay, see, li is equal to, now I am providing string data types, say like this, and Sai, then Kiran, whatever the values you want, you just add those values. Okay, so again, I'm providing Sai, later I'm providing Lakshmi, then I'm providing Jai, like this. So here in this group of values, all are of same data type, that is called string data type. And all these values I'm placing inside the square brackets, those values are separated with comma. This complete thing I have stored in this variable, that is li. Let's try to print that variable and check the data type also. Check it. Now you can see it is a list data type. And you can see the values. What is the order that I have given while creating? Same order you can see it here while returning also. Correct? That means list is a ordered data type. And also list supports a duplicate values, which means I have given Sai for 2 times. While displaying, it is also returning for 2 times. And Kiran is for 2, not Kiran, Lakshmi is for 2 times. While displaying, it is returning for 2 times. That means it is supporting the duplicate values. Correct? Yes. So now what I'll do, list with the different data types. List with different data means you can give different values with different data types. The values may be having a same kind also, no problem. Okay. See, let's see here. Now let us write a student details. Let's give variable name as like this. Inside the square brackets, I am just giving a name as Dilip and age as 26. What is the course he has taken here is a Python course. And what is the fees here is 35,000. And is he a beginner? Yes. Instead of writing yes as a string data type, I'm going to provide it like a Boolean value. Okay, it's true. And I'm going to give the location here as Bangalore. And I'm going to provide their parents' names under one section that is called a list. So let us take a mother name as Lakshmi and father name as Mani. See, here I have stored a multiple values using the square brackets, and values are separated with what commas and stored in this variable, right? So how all these values are different data type. So this is a string data, integer data, float data, Boolean data, again list is there. So usually I can call sequence data types as objects. If you are writing a sequence data type inside one more sequence data type, I will call it as a nested object. What I can call it as nested object. Here list inside one more list is existing. That means it is a nested object. You can write this also. So if try to print that variable and also check the data type, you can come to know what kind of data type it is. Okay, so we already know that if it is having a square brackets, values are separated with commas, then obviously it is a list data type only. Let's run and check it. It is a list. And what is the order I have given while creation? Same order it has returned for us as an output. Okay, I didn't give any kind of duplicate values, so no problem. Okay, now we know how to create an empty list, how to create a list with a similar data type, and also we have seen how to create a list with different data types. And also we have learned that what is meant by nested object. The sequence data type inside one more sequence data type, we'll call it as a nested object. Okay. Now we are going to learn one concept called how to access a single value from the list. Usually, when I'm trying to print this variable, I'm getting all the values, what and all I have stored in that variable. That means all values have an identity called this variable name. If you ask, is there any specific identification for these particular values? Yes. What is the identification for each and every value is nothing but I can say its positions, ma. What I can say? Their positions. Position in Python will call it as index. What we'll call it as positions as index. So in Python, okay, in Python, Index starts with 0. In Python, with what number it will start with? 0. Okay, here I said that all values having a same identity, that is this variable. When I'm trying to print this variable, what and all I stored, that I'm getting as an output. Now I need to print a specific value. For example, if I want to print 26, how it is possible? If I'm trying to print this one, complete is getting. I want only this value. Then it will done with the help of its position. So this will have one type of position, this will have a position, this will every value have their own positions. Okay, so that position I'll call it as what means index. What I can call it as index. If you are accessing the values, if you are reading the values from left to right side, then that kind of indexing I'll call it as positive indexing. Actually, two types of indexing in Python. One is positive indexing and second is negative indexing. Positive indexing means accessing values, which is nothing but reading, okay, accessing values from left to right side, okay, left to right side. And the numbering means and index is given. Index is given with what number means a 0. Okay, so if you are reading the values from the right side, then that kind of indexing I can call it as a negative indexing. What I can say, accessing values from right to left, okay, and the index will start, okay, with -1 by default. These are all default values. So if you are accessing values from right to left to right, that will call it as positive indexing. Numbering will start with 0. By 1, it will be increasing for all the values. Means the index will increase by 1 this side. When you are accessing values from right to left, the default value will be -1. Okay, -1. So while decreasing means you need to decrement by 1 to give the remaining index values. Okay, see here, what I mean to say here is, let's represent this list in a diagrammatic manner. Say this is our list, right? This is our list. So I'll just representing this in a diagrammatic manner. So, okay. See, one second. I'm just representing it in a diagrammatic manner. This is our list. So this is a one value. This is one more, one value, one value. This complete thing is one value. List inside one more list. That's, we are having one more list. Okay, so now I want to access values from left to right, giving a positions for the values from left to right. Then I can call it one as positive indexing. So it is going to take values from 0, just incrementing by 1. So the positions will be given to each and every values. If I'm accessing values from right to left, then that kind of indexing I can call it as negative indexing. By default, it will start with the index -1. Okay, it gradually decreases by 1 to give the indexes for the rest of the values like this. So this is what values. Okay, for suppose if I want to access a Bangalore, only Bangalore, how it is possible? You need to follow the syntax, that is from which variable you are accessing, that variable name, index and all should be provided inside the square brackets. You should provide index inside the square brackets. So not only for the list data type, whatever the data type it is, okay, you should specify the index inside the square brackets only. If it is a tuple, if it is a string, whatever it may be. If you want to access a single value from that data type, then the index can be given inside the square brackets. Okay, so now I just want to access Bangalore. How can we access? So in which variable this value is present? In the student detail. So how can I give? So student detail, variable name. Inside the square brackets, I can give either 5 or I can give -2. Anything is okay. If you are giving the 5, the output will be what? A Bangalore for those indexes. Okay, so ma'am, which one be preferable? It's up to you. So from which side, if you access, it will give, means like which is nearer to, near. If you are doing a positive indexing, okay, if it is nearer to it, then you can make use of it. If it is a negative index, means it should be nearer to that. For suppose this value is nearer to negative indexing, then you simply make use of negative indexing. If I want to access a 26, then this is a nearer from left side to left side. Then you just use a positive indexing. But when you are giving the indexes as an output, it will prefer only the positive indexing. Okay, so we'll see one example based on this concept. But suppose if I want to access, let's see here, if I want to access a value, let us take I'll just print this variable name. I don't want to scroll it again and again. So this is my variable, right? So in this variable, I just want to print the Python. So how can I print this one? I have given the syntax. From which variable you are accessing the value, that variable name, and you should provide the position inside the square brackets. Position, I'll call it as in the Python as index. Now see, you want to display it, right? So use print function. So student details, from the student details, I want to access 26. The position of 26 is 1. So this is called a positive indexing. So if I access from left side, then this is nearer to it. That's why I'm just giving the positive indexing. Now just try to run this cell. You can see the value as 26. For suppose if I want to access last value from list. Last value is nothing but this one, this complete list, Lakshmi money. Yes or no? So instead of accessing the values from left to right, if you do negative indexing, which will be very simpler way, right? So last value will be positioned as -1. Correct. If you are doing from right to left, that is called negative indexing. Instead of going from left to right, it is very simple to access from right to left. So the position of the last value from of the list is -1. So simply make use of a negative indexing. That is what I am saying. Based on your values, you can able to access it. Which kind of indexing? Okay. So from the student details, I'm just giving last value to access -1. So you are getting this one. For suppose if I want to access only Lakshmi, then how it is possible? If I want to access only Lakshmi from list, actually that Lakshmi is present inside one more list. Correct? So how can we access this one? It is also very simple. See here, if we consider this as a list, okay. So these are having the positions, we know that, right? So you can do any kind of access. 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So inside this, there is a one more list having a 2 values again. So you should give positions for those 2 also. So actually the complete list is inside the 6th position. Correct. So what we will give? So in the student detail variable, okay, in 6th position, you have one more list. If you are giving 6, or -1, you will give this complete value. Correct. In this complete value, I want to get only the single value. Then I have given the values for positions for those 2 values like 0 and 1. Okay. If you are giving negative indexing, you can give -1 and -2. So if I'm giving a positive indexing, okay, this is present at the 0th position. I should give it like this. Then the value will be like what? Lakshmi output. Okay, if you are giving a -2, then the value will be like Lakshmi. Why? Because so if you are giving values from the negative side, means the right side, then -1, -2, and this complete is inside the -1. This is what, right? Representation. Yes. We'll see it now. We'll see it. So see, now I'll just copy this code and I'll paste it here. So inside, if I'm accessing negative indexing, -1, -2, if I give, see you got it Lakshmi. See here, that is what, right? I have said. So if you want to access from left to right, then the position of that Lakshmi and money is 6. So inside that, there is one more list where the Lakshmi is placed at 0th position. If I give 0, you will give Lakshmi. However you want, you can access it. It's not an issue at all. Okay. So this is how we can access a single value from the list. And the next thing that we are going to learn here is how to access a multiple values. So multiple values, I can call it like a sublist, okay, from a list. That means we will make use of one concept for accessing multiple values here is slicing method, you will make use of the symbol called a colon symbol. To access multiple values, we will make use of the slicing method that is indicated with the help of a colon symbol. See, what is the syntax? Means from which variable you are accessing that variable name, and here you should pass start index. Okay, multiple values we are accessing, right? From which index the value is getting started and where it is stopping. So you should give stop index also. And step index is nothing but is it accessing in a sequential manner, or it is taking some kind of evenly indexed values, or is it accessing like odd indexed values? Then you should specify in the step index. So little looks like a range function. In the range function, we will be passing a comma symbols, just separating with comma. But the slicing method is indicated with a indentation symbol, like a colon symbol. So remember these points, okay? See, when you are using this slicing method, you should remember here few points. That is, when you are not giving the start index, then meaning that by default it will start with 0. Reading the values from which index? 0th index. If you are not giving the start index and simply leaving that place, and I'm just giving indentation, colon symbol, and if I'm giving some stop value, the meaning here is it is starting with the 0th index. Okay. And if I have given stop index, okay, remember stop index always excluded. We know that. Okay, whenever you are giving a stop value, it should be like one number extra. Then only it will be reads till the expected position. Okay, so it will be excluded. And one more thing that you need to remember here is if we are not providing the stop index, which means it is going to read that complete list. Read that complete list. Okay, it is going to access all the values till the end of the list, the meaning. And the second point here is a step index. What is the step index indicates? If you are not giving the step index, by default, it will increment by 1. Other than 1, if you are incrementing, then you need to specify it. So these are the points that you need to remember when you are performing with the slicing method. Similar cases only what we have done in the range function. Okay, so let's have a discussion on this. What I can do here is, so I just print that variable, student variable. So student details. So now see here, I just want to read from Python to Bangalore. That means the Python is starting other than 0th position. That means you should specify this position. And it is ending at certain position. It is not ending at end of the list. That means it is also ending at certain position. That means you should specify compulsory starting value and stopping value with one number extra. And you don't need to specify the step index. The reason here is it is accessing the values in order. So if you are not specifying the step index also, the meaning it will increment by 1 only. Okay, so let's access it. How can we access? Print function. So from which variable you are accessing? That variable name. Where the value is starting, the position 0, 1, 2. You should specify 2, indentation, colon symbol, and 3, 4, 5. Fifth position. You should not give exactly the fifth position, because if you give 5, it will read till true only. So you should give one number extra. So if I give 6, it will read till Bangalore. Okay. So the step index, if you didn't give also, the meaning here is it will be incrementing to this index by 1. So we'll elaborate this for more understanding. So this is a list, right? So I want to access these values, correct? And the position of these values here is 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now you just started with 2. So it will read this value. And it is incrementing by 1 plus 1. So you are just adding for the index. Okay, that is what the syntax I have said. So 2 plus 1 is 3. It will come to the third index and it will print this value. Again, it will increment by 1. It will comes to the fourth index. It will be printed this value. It will be adding plus 1. It will be comes to this position. It will print this value. So if you are adding also, it will not print. It will stop till here itself. Okay. So this is how the values will be read by using the slicing method. Okay. So this is starting at certain point and ending at certain point. So it is not, if you are starting other than 0, must and give the starting index. If it is ending at certain position, that also you should give. And also, if you didn't give also, not a matter. See, I will show it now. So if I am just removing this step index and I am running it again, now you can see the output is this one. Correct? Means you got the values. From which data type you are accessing the values? In that same data type you are getting. See, in the square brackets only you are getting. That means from the list you are accessing the group of values. Those values I can call it like a sublist. You are accessing multiple values. So that's what I can say. It's a sublist. So if you are providing step index also, the output is similar. Okay. If I want to access from Dilip to Python, then here you are starting with the 0th index. Then you no need to specify the start index. Say I'm not providing anything. I want to print from Dilip to Python. It is starting at 0. You no need to provide it. You just leave it like that only. Indentation, that means colon symbol, and 0, 1, 2, ending at second position. That means it is not ending till end. So that's why you should give the ending value. That means end position. So you should not give exactly, you should give one number 3. And it is in sequential manner only. So if you specify, if you didn't specify, is also okay. If you are specifying the 0 also, no problem. You can specify. No problem. So now run it. You can check it. From Dilip to Python, you got it. For suppose, if I want to print from Bangalore to the still end of the list, I want to read from Bangalore and end from till end of the list. Then what I can do? Inside the print function, from which variable you are accessing, that variable name, starting index other than 0, you should specify it. Correct? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You should give the starting index as 5. And stop index, I don't want to specify because from here it is reading the rest of the values till ending. So then you no need to specify. You simply leave like that only. No problem. And here it is reading like a sequential manner. Then step index is also not recommended. Okay. So now just run it and you can check it. See the rest values and all, you got it. Okay. For suppose if I want to print only even indexed values, the meaning here is, so in order to avoid scrolling up and down, what I will do here is, again, I'm going to print this student detail variable. So here it is. So now I want to print only even indexed values from the list. Now, how can I do even indexed? Means 0th position, 2nd, 4th, then 6th position. I want to print those values using slicing method. Then how it is possible? Very simple. You are accessing the complete list. That means from 0 to till ending. Then you no need to specify the start index and end index. And what's the one thing you need to follow here is step index should be given, because if you didn't give the step index, the meaning means it is going to increment by 1 only. See, here I want this 0th position, 2nd position, 4th position, and 6th position. So what is the difference between these indexes? 2. So if first this will be printed, and if you add +2, it will come to this index and this value will be printed. If you're adding +2, this one, it will be moving to the 4th position, this value will be printed. Again +2, moving to this position, and this will be printed. So that's it. The end of the list is done. So here, complete list you are reading. That means you no need to specify the start index, no need to specify the end index. Okay. So now let's see practically. See, I'm not giving the starting index. So simply keeping the colon symbol. I'm not giving the ending index. So simply just leaving. See, here I didn't give anything. Here also I didn't give anything. Here I should specify the step index. Other than 1, must and should be specified. So now run and check it. You will see the values. Delete, Python, true, and this value. You got it here. For suppose if I want to access odd indexed values from the list. So odd indexed means you are accessing from the complete list itself. But the odd number will start from which number? From 1. And you are reading complete till. Okay, how much length the list is having? That complete list you need to read. Okay, and it should read only the even odd positions. So here, although you are reading the complete list, you know that odd value will start with 1. Okay, and that's why you should specify the starting index, and stop index no need to specify it. By default, till end of the list, it will read it, and from that, it will only access the odd positioned values. And remember, if you see the differences between these indexes, the difference is +2. Correct. So when you are accessing the values, the step value should be incremented by 2. So you should specify that position value. Okay, so now see this one. So you need to display it. That's why I'm using the print function. Okay, from which variable you are accessing, that variable name. Start index must and should be specified because the odd value will start with 1. That's why 1 should be given. Until end I need to write. That's why I'm not giving the stop value. And step I'm giving it as 2. So because I want to get odd values just by incrementing by 2. That is the reason I should give the step value as 2. Now just run and check it. You will see the values as 26, 35,000 and Bangalore. Okay. If you want to access a complete list using the slicing method, if you are accessing the list, how we will be accessing normally? Just providing that variable name so that I'll be getting the output. But here, what is the question here means? You need to read the values of list just by using the slicing method, not directly with the variable. Then what is the meaning here is you need to specify the indentation symbols. Means here the complete list you need to read from starting point to ending point, and it should be in order. Then how can I make it this one? So from which variable you are accessing, that variable name. Starting index I don't want to provide because it is starting at 0 only. I don't want to provide a stop index also because it is reading till end only. And it is incrementing by 1. So I don't want to specify the step value also. So starting is not given, ending is not given, step is also not given. If you run, it is going to give the same value. Okay. So if you are not giving one more colon also, the meaning here is the similar only. So like this, you can read the list values from beginning to ending using the slicing method. And one more thing, how to access list values in reverse order. You want to access list values in the reverse order. That means you want to read the complete list. That means you no need to provide a start index and end index. Okay, from which variable you are accessing, that variable name. I am not giving start index. I am not giving stop index. Then simply I am providing the step value. The reason because you need to decrement by 1. So what I am going to do, let us take a negative indexing also, not an issue at all. So if you take the positive indexing also, not an issue at all. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Correct? So here what is the starting value I can give here is a 6. Because you want to read it from the reverse order. So with what number it is starting? 6. So you should give 6. And with what number it is ending? 0. But if I give 0, it will read till here only. So you should give -1. Is it recommended? We'll see. And how it is going to be decremented? If I give, first it will read this one. If I -1, it will come to this position. This value will be read. If I'm giving -1, this value will be written like this. Correct. So that's why I have to give the step value as -1. So now run and check this one. You can see the values will be in the reverse order. So no need to specify the start index or stop index, and by default, it's going to be read in the reverse order if you are specifying the -1. Okay, so this is how we can access a single value and multiple values in the list data type. Remember, the same process will be done on the tuple data type and the string data type also. Okay, so in that cases, I will be not elaborating that much. Okay, because the same procedure will be done there, right? So that's why I'll just try to give simple lines. Okay, then you people has to practice for more understanding. Okay, so the next concept will be continued in the next video. Okay, if you are having any doubts, kindly comment below so that I'll be clearing all your doubts. If you are having any kind of queries to know about any other courses also, let me know. So I'll be posting those videos also as per your request. Hope you thoroughly understand my concepts. Who are not subscribed to my channel, kindly subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon for more notifications. Please like, share, and comment below. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Bye bye.